The curse of foreign ministers in Iran. The Islamic Revolution has seen the role of foreign minister become the poison chalice of government posts. Looking back over 40 years, with the exception of Ali Akbar Velayati, no one can claim to have made a success of the position. Hindered on all sides by religious objections and interference, Iran's foreign ministry has remained impotent, unable to commit to independent decisions or implement independent authority. There have been 9 foreign ministers since the Islamic Revolution. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini, who ruled Iran more as a dictator, installed and supported Velayati, who remained foreign minister for over 15 years, with scope to fulfill the role properly. The other 8 have had rather less success. 1 fled the country, 1 executed, 1 under house arrest, 1 replaced while on an official visit, 1 persecuted until his death, 1 the target of revengeful hardliners, 1 forced to continue despite wanting to quit, and the current incumbent faces an uncertain future. Here's a rundown and the lowdown of their careers. Karim Sanjabi was the first foreign minister after the revolution. He advised against occupying the US embassy in Tehran and the hostage situation that ensued. Unfortunately, Ayatollah Khomeini thought it was a wonderful idea. When the US imposed trade and economic sanctions, Sanjabi was out after only a few months. At his resignation press conference, he said, "Considering that the affairs of the country are not run in a desirable manner and free from the interference of irresponsible elements, I had to resign as a warning for possible dangers ahead." Sanjabi went into hiding and soon after left Iran. Ebrahim Yazdi was Sanjabi's successor. Yazdi's son-in-law was a major player in Ayatollah Khomeini's supported occupation of the US embassy. However, when Mehdi Bazargan's government resigned en masse, partly because of the US embassy issue, Yazdi lost his influence. He never regained office. He spent many years in conflict in the courts, in prison, and in political isolation. Sadek Hadbazadeh, one of Khomeini's trusted advisors, became foreign minister on November 29, 1979. His tenure was another failure. He supported the release of the US hostages, but it wasn't his decision to make, it was out of his hands. He also failed in his attempts to have Mohammad Reza Shah extradited back to Iran. On April 8, 1982, Hadbazadeh, along with some army officers and clerics, was arrested and charged with planning to assassinate Ayatollah Khomeini and overthrow the Islamic Republic. He was executed by firing squad on September 15th the same year. Mir Hossein Mousavi was appointed in August 1981, after a year of Iran not having an official foreign minister. It wasn't a well-chosen moment, it was chaos, and it was brief. His first statement on behalf of the Islamic Republic included the quote that it would continue its anti-Zionist policy until the liberation of Quds, Jerusalem, and will transfer its diplomatic center of gravity from Europe and America to Asia and Africa. Mousavi so impressed Ayatollah Khomeini that after only 82 days' tenure as foreign minister, during which he served 3 prime ministers, Mohammad Ali Rajai, Mohammad Javad Bahona, and Mohammad Reza Mahdavi Khani, Mousavi was himself appointed prime minister. Mousavi's relationship with Ayatollah Khamenei, once he became president, never worked well. Following the 2009 presidential election, he and his wife were placed under house arrest, and that's where they remain, still without being brought to trial. Ali Akbar Velayati is the standout Iranian foreign minister. Appointed on 15th December 1981, he remained in office until August 20th, 1997. He only faced one crisis of confidence. In December 1989, Romanian dictator Nicolae Ceausescu made an official visit to Iran at the invitation of President Hashemi Rafsanjani, but it was Velayati's suggestion. Less than a week later, on his return to Romania, Ceausescu was overthrown and executed. Velayati was blamed for the timing, and his impeachment followed. Fortunately for Velayati, he retained the support of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei and held his post. After leaving office, he retained a role as senior foreign affairs advisor to Khamenei, which sees him still actively involved in foreign policy issues. Kamal Karadzic served as foreign minister to President Mohammad Khatami from August 1997 to August 2005. Despite being relatively passive as foreign minister, he often criticised other elements of the government for interfering in making Iranian foreign affairs, saying mostly he just carried out the foreign policy decisions made by others rather than setting his own. The Revolutionary Guards made many of the policy decisions during the 2003 US invasion of Iraq. It was Karadzic's responsibility to present the nuclear issue to the Supreme National Security Council. He felt he was not fully effective because of constant pressure from other powerful political voices and institutions. Perhaps the Foreign Ministry was not able to do this well, Hassan Rouhani, Secretary-General of the Council, wrote in his memoirs, because some agencies did not pay enough attention to the decisions by this ministry. Sometimes, to protect itself from the consequences of its decision regarding the country's economic and security issues, the Foreign Ministry looked for partners so that it would not be held solely accountable. Manouchehr Mottaki was President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad's foreign minister for more than 5 years, from 2005 to 2010, his role ending in ridiculous fashion. While on an official visit to Senegal, he was told of his dismissal by that country's president during a meeting, having not been informed officially by his own Iranian government. The Senegalese were so insulted by the events, they recalled their ambassador from Tehran. Mottaki asserted Ahmadinejad dismissed he, Mottaki, was also reporting directly to Ayatollah Khamenei. However, when questioned by Parliament, Ahmadinejad said he hadn't asked Mottaki to visit Senegal, but he didn't reveal who did. Ali Akbar Salehi was President Ahmadinejad's next foreign minister. In his memoirs, Salehi says that after Ayatollah Khamenei held secret talks with the US about Iran's nuclear program, Ahmadinejad warned Salehi it could be dangerous because, ultimately, other government institutions would stand in his way. Salehi, again in his memoirs, says Islamic hardliners undermined his authority. When he was in Saudi Arabia for a meeting on the Syrian crisis and the Damascus embassy attacks, the British Foreign Secretary told him demonstrators were attacking British diplomatic compounds in Iran. After telling Khamenei's staff about it, they told the protesters to quit the occupation. In Salehi's opinion, the police should have prevented the incident, which led to Britain breaking off diplomatic relations with Iran. Mohammad Javad Zarif is the current foreign minister, but for how long? His experience is similar to Salehi's, as protesters claiming to be Khamenei supporters attacked the Saudi embassy in Tehran and consulate in Mashhad in 2016. The Saudis broke off diplomatic relations with Iran, and the authority of the foreign minister and ministry was undermined yet again. Zarif came under more pressure from hardline conservatives when he dismissed Hossein Amir Abdollahian, the Deputy Foreign Minister for Arab and African Affairs and reportedly a close ally of the Revolutionary Guards. Zarif had been trying to take Iran's regional policies in the Middle East out of the pocket of Guards' Quds Force and bring them back under Foreign Ministry and President Rouhani's control. A final humiliation for Zarif, which presumably led to him offering his resignation, was when he wasn't told that Syria's President Bashar al-Assad was to visit Tehran, and he was excluded from meetings between Khamenei, Assad, Rouhani and General Soleimani. It was a blatant expression of the fact that Iran's foreign ministry plays part in Tehran's foreign policy in the Middle East. It is the sole responsibility of the Revolutionary Guard and General Soleimani, commander of the Quds Force. During the 40 years of the Islamic Republic, the role of the foreign minister has been a pointless position with little authority. It carries little international status and has little influence on Iran's foreign policy. As Zarif said after his resignation, which was not accepted, the role of the foreign minister has turned into a decorative object. The continued growth of power among the hardliners doesn't augur well for the average Iranian. As things are getting worse economically, a more aggressive, hardline foreign policy doesn't seem to be the best solution.